Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
And we are back. So I look up, and on some of the national broadcasts, I think it was Newsmax, and I see former Congressman Peter King talking about this incident in Washington Square Park. And the congressman joins me live right now. Congressman, thank you for appearing. Congressman, are you there?
Dominic?
Yes. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Congressman?
Now I can, yeah. Now I can.
Okay, you can hear me now. Okay, I apologize for the technical difficulties. So I
No
saw
problem.
you on Newsmax, and I want you, Governor Hochul has strongly condemned the incident. The police commissioner is livid, stating that it's criminal and that detectives are investigating. But you and I both know it won't go anywhere because even if they make the arrest, the Manhattan District Attorney, Alvin Bragg, it's dead on arrival. I want you to listen to the mayor, though, Congressman King, almost making a joke out of this and referring to the perpetrators as youth and kids. Listen to this.
So I've seen videos of kids throwing snowballs at members of the NYPD in Washington Square Park. And first I want to say that officers have been on the front line of helping our city respond to this blizzard. They have been keeping New Yorkers safe, and they have also been at the heart of our efforts of digging New Yorkers' cars out of these kinds of conditions and ensuring that our ambulances, our MTA buses can keep functioning across this city. They and our entire city workforce deserve to be treated with respect. The only person in our city's workforce who deserves to be treated with a snowball is me.
So, Congressman King, a number of things about his response. But why is he comparing police officers, first-line responders, that can take a bullet at any moment to other city workers? It's almost like he was looking for anything to say except to condemn what happened.
Yeah, basically he's suggesting some kind of an equivalence between the police officers and these thugs and punks that were throwing snowballs at them. And, snowballs sound fun in games. It's not. You get hit in the eye with a snowball. You get hit in the face with a snowball. It can leave a lot of damage. It's very painful. But somehow with him, I can imagine, I hate to say this, let's say 20 imams are walking down the street and a bunch of white kids started throwing snowballs at them. A bunch of kids, and the imam's doing a good job, and the kids having fun, and let's not make a big deal out of it. He'd got the civil rights investigation going on. He'd have the every cop in the country locking up these kids, these punks who throwing snowballs at the imams. No, this is just disgraceful. By Mandami, it shows that he just equates the cops with everyone else. There's kids throwing snowballs, there's cops, there's first responders, there's people driving ambulances. Everyone's doing the best they can, and the kids having some fun. An absolute disgrace. Anyone, to me, whether it's a teacher or certainly a cop or a fireman who putting their lives on the line, they should be treated with respect. And there's no debate about that. If you lift a finger to a cop, to me, that's a crime. That's an assault, and action should be taken against you. What's going to happen now? You're right. And by the way, Jessica Tisch, somewhere she's going to reach the end of the line with this guy. I mean, she has to, first of all, to the extent I know her, and I've known her on and off for almost 20 years now, I believe she genuinely bleeds blue. I mean, she is definitely identifies with the police officers. But in addition to that, she has to face those more than 30,000 cops And she has to be, she's supposed to be their representative fighting hard for them. And if the mayor acts like this is just a big joke, that they're throwing snowballs and disrespecting cops like that, and what kind of a tone does that set as far as the average goon, the average criminal on the street, the average young punk, when a cop tells him to move off a street corner, or if a cop starts asking him questions, they go spit at the cop. They go say, "Who cares what you have to say?" And they can point to the mayor. And I think it's just a absolute disgrace. I can't emphasize enough now. Apart from the fact that my father was a cop for over 30 years, and I've known so many cops, and I've also gone to so many cops' funerals. To me, what happened yesterday was so disgusting and disgraceful. And the mayor, he should be that alone. People should disregard everything he has to say. The guy he has no interest in Dominic, in the America that you and I love.
You know, Congressman King, and I agree with everything you just said, especially the part about the America that you and I love. When I was growing up, if something like this had happened, not all, I won't be a phony, but one or two of these mothers would have ran out there and smacked that kid or grabbed that kid by the ear and say, "Get your black in the house." Where is that, Congressman? Where are the parents? I mean, you have these young black kids openly defying the badge, openly defying authority. Nobody says anything. And not just defying, physically defying. They think it's a joke.
Yeah, I don't know where they are. I don't know where the lines of authority are broken down here, but maybe the impossible will happen. Maybe Alvin Bragg will finally do the right thing. These kids should be tracked down. They should be arrested and action taken against them. Not just a slap in the wrist. An example should be set that these guys are punks and goons and just thugs, and they should be treated as such. And this type of disrespect for law and order and for authority, what does that do? You know, civilization really hangs on a very slender thread. I mean, I'm afraid that we're always, throughout human history, we're just so far away from a total breakdown. And you can't have a cop everywhere. You can't have somebody monitoring everything we do. And there's just certain rules that people are expected to follow. Once that line starts to break down, once that thread starts to break, you're going to have chaos. And if you're not, it starts to me the simplest thing of all is respect cops. If you don't do that, then how are you going to respect your neighbor? How are you going to respect the bodega owner? How are you going to respect the bartender? How are you going to respect the bus driver? I mean, all that whole breakdown in society and the rules that should, the unwritten rules, the written and the unwritten rules that bind us together. And in the past, and I'm not trying to glorify the past, but growing up, I would say, 98% of people observe these things. I can't imagine anyone thinking of throwing something at a cop, except maybe a bad guy, and that bad guy would end up in jail. And the whole breakdown in civil order is really distressing, and to have a mayor, in effect, enabling that, encouraging it, by making a big joke out of the fact. Somebody hit him in the face with a snowball. I don't think it would be such a big joke.
Of course not. And a point that I made early this morning, Congressman King, at least when I was growing up in the Bronx, one of these African-American youngsters without a father, dysfunctional family structure, in my day growing up, these things didn't happen because everyone knew if you dare cross that line, they're going to tax that ASS, and rightfully so. Meaning the NYPD. If you don't know any respect, you're going to learn some today, young man. When you get to the station house, you're going to learn some respect today. And this is why, Congressman King, we need the street crimes unit. Everything's been going downhill since, we can't have that. Civil rights violation. With the street crimes unit, their motto of "we own the night." Now, can you imagine if 4 or 5 street crime unit cars had responded to those kids, quote unquote, children, as Mom Donnie called them? They wouldn't have been acting up like that. Not with the NYPD street crimes unit, where they're coming up plain clothes and you don't know who's who, but you're about to find out the hard way. And then you're going downtown. I just don't get it. So, Congressman King, let me switch gears. President Trump said something yesterday that I found disturbing, but the fact of the matter is he was telling the truth. Listen to this.
I don't know how long I'll be around. Got a lot of people gunning for me, don't I, huh? But I will not forget them. I'm never going to forget them.
And he was talking about the families that their loved ones killed by illegals. But Congressman, the Secret Service, local police in Mar-a-Lago, they had to shoot this man. I mean, what is going on? And how many attempts are we going to see on the life of the man that may go down in history as the greatest president ever?
I tell you, it really is terrifying. You had, obviously he was shot in Butler, Pennsylvania. Then you have that guy who was on the golf course waiting to assassinate him after that. And now you have this event, and you talk to the police, they'll tell you there's an increase in threats against the president. And it's almost, I hate to use this term, it's almost understandable that people who have underlying psychiatric or psychological issues, when they hear the president being called a murderer, a fascist, a Nazi, a racist, he's being accused of every possible crime, war crimes, everything else, that that's going to set off certain numbers of people. And in the past, we've always had, heated debate in the country. You go back to some of the really hotly contested elections, Nixon and Kennedy, there was nothing like this. You go back over them, in recent years, especially when it comes to President Trump, all gloves are off. I mean, except if he fights back, then he gets attacked. Just like you're right, these punks who are throwing snowballs at the cops, why are they doing it? Because they know the cops can't do anything. In the past, I mean, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but if you were being brought down to the station house and you just hit a cop in the face with a snowball, you're going to get more than just an appearance ticket somewhere. No, that's, and I think it's the same. The breakdown in civil order, the great breakdown in basic agreements, in basic courtesies and understanding it's reflected in many ways, but the most dramatic way is people attempting to assassinate the President of the United States.
And to piggyback on your point, Congressman, which is a great point, years ago, you throw a snowball at a police officer?
Oh my God!
An NYPD officer? You've got discipline from your family is going to be the easy part, because rightfully so, the boys in blue are going to hem you up. They're going to teach you some discipline on that day where you won't ever do that again. And I mean, I don't know. Maybe Congressman is my generation, with these black youth without fathers. I mean, and I can talk about it because I am one of them. It's just that, I decided that it was more important for me to go to school rather than hang out on the corner talking about what the white man won't let me achieve. I don't get it. So we're the State of the Union. What are you expecting? Because you're very good at predicting what's going to happen and so on. What are you expecting tonight, Congressman?
Let me just say a highlight of the State of the Union is going to be the fact that he has that U.S. hockey team there. That, to me, is such a rebirth of patriotism. And by having them there, it's a symbol of the direction the country, that the president wants the country to go in, to love America, to be patriotic, and not to be embarrassed about it, but be proud of your country. So I think that's, in many ways, is going to symbolize all of the president's speech. That's what his speech is going to be about. I think what it's going to be about is, first of all, I think he's going to somewhere have to talk about Iran, that right now we face a very deadly threat from Iran. They face worse threats from us because we can retaliate. But the fact is they are. There's no doubt they're once again trying to assemble a nuclear weapon system. They also have these ballistic missiles that can be devastating to really most places in the world, but especially Israel, which is so close by, which is our closest ally in the Middle East. But also he has to show, I think, that the economy has done much better. It's not perfect. I wish the president wouldn't keep saying everything is great. It's going in a tremendous direction. The progress he has made is extraordinary. He should focus on that, how the prices of gasoline have come down as much as they have, how the cost of living, everything in many ways is improving for the American people, but there's still some issues left over from the Biden administration. And he should address them and say what he's going to do, because the economy has made tremendous strides back. But you know the Democrats are just going to focus on the few areas where there still has to be something done, and the president should acknowledge that and say, listen, we're doing all we can. We're making progress almost everywhere. There's still some places that we have to catch up on. We're going to do it, and you're going to see a greater economy under me than you've seen under any other president. Also, he's got to bring. Almost not. People say immigration is not a big issue anymore. Why? Because the president sealed the border. What an achievement that is. We were told we have all this legislation was needed, all this compromise, all this bipartisan measures before we could close the border. The president closed it in 2 months, just like he took out Iran's nuclear system in 2 hours. I mean, these are great achievements. So he shouldn't allow himself to get sidetracked by what the rabble out there is saying about him. To me, the American people love the fact that he's sealed the border, and they shouldn't be influenced and overly influenced by the riots that were caused in Minneapolis. The same place they gave us George Floyd also gave us the riots this past winter, and we can't allow a bunch of goons and thugs and Black Lives Matter and George Soros people to be determining the dialogue that goes on in this country.
And you are so correct, Congressman King. Thank you so much for the time. Regards to your family. Look forward to chatting with you soon.
I look forward to it, and so does my wife. She listens in and always says, I love Dominic. How about me? She says, I love Dominic.
Oh, well, send my regards to your beautiful, lovely wife. And I saw your daughter recently celebrated, I think, her 25th wedding anniversary.
25th wedding anniversary, yeah. She and her husband, John.
Congratulations to her and to you and your wife. Thank you, Congressman.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.